Hey guys, what's going on? Robot Unicorn here, and today I'm just going to be showing you a quick video on how to blow through walls covered in water. So we have a cobblestone wall here and a sand wall here, just two examples of walls you might find in a base in factions. So this would be representing the side of a base that you want to attack, and here is the bedrock platform that I just set up for the cannon. So you want to make sure you're a good distance away, because if you're a little too close, the TNT might actually blow up, and most people do have the area right in front of the base claimed if they know what they're doing. So I think this is a good distance apart. So there we go. Those are the first two blocks. That's what you want to place down first, and then from there you place dispenser on top of that one. You place bedrock, so you have like a 4-piece of bedrock here. You go on top of that, piston there, sand there. So you see you have the piston and sand one block above, and the piston is right there, sand's right there. And then you put a piece of bedrock on top of that. Also, you don't have to use bedrock. I'm just using bedrock because it's creative mode. You can use obsidian if you're in survival or just playing by yourself, but cobble's fine and other things. It's just that if there is ever a malfunction, the structure itself won't blow up, just the dispensers and pistons and whatnot. But that can be fixed. I mean, it's a little inconvenience, but it still can be fixed. So next what you have is you go like this. You count out 8 from here. So the water should stop right here. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you cap it off there. And then you go back down this way by placing one here, and then you can start filling it up with dispensers. So this is going to be up to 10 shots in the charge of TNT. You can do more, obviously, by extending it to like 11 and whatnot, but it's not really necessary. I think 10 is a good number, and you can always build higher, and I'll talk about that more when we get there. But so once you have that down, the outline of everything, time to build the repeaters and redstone system. So then what you want to do is count out from here all the way down to the end of the cannon, and then once you get to the end of the cannon, you can just build a little thing down here. Let me just extend this a little bit. So that's going to have repeaters on it, and you want to have 10 repeaters total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so I got to have one more. And then you want to make sure they're all at full ticks. Some people call this 3 ticks because you click 3 times. Some people call it 4 because it's the 4th position. But let's just say the most amount of ticks possible. So then you have a piece of redstone, and then we'll just bring it back here with the redstone repeater. So that's 10. There we go, 10 should power, and yep, everything's working good. So then once that's all set, you can just extend the redstone over here and start building the redstone for the charge. So for the charge, it's pretty simple. You just have bedrock there, build like this, and then you got some more dispensers up here for extra charge and extra distance. And then basically you just connect the redstone like so. Where is it? There's the redstone. And then what happens is you put redstone on top of these guys, and this powers this block. So when this block is whole powered, which powers this line, and then it also powers this line on top of it. And the reason that I did leave a gap here and here is because I don't want this block being powered by redstone, because if a piece of redstone was here, then this one would also be powered along with the charge, which would then blow up the cannon. And you don't want that happening. So guys, this is a 1-button cannon, and in my previous cannon was a 2-step. So this does use a comparator, but I'm also going to show you another way which would eliminate the comparator if you're like me and like to take the risk of doing it manually, but also have the customization of doing that, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in the future. But then for the charge, for the projectiles rather, you want to have 7 and then a comparator at the end. So 7 repeaters on full tick delay, and then a comparator at the end. So let's just extend this over here, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you can put a comparator down and then set up that. But I'm going to actually space these out a little bit, so that way I don't have to put the comparator so far away. 1, 2, 3, so then add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then you simply get a comparator. Comparators are fairly new in Minecraft. If you don't know how to make them, it involves nether quartz and very similar to a redstone repeater. And it allows for rapid fire use of redstone without having to do it the old manual way, which can be dangerous when dealing with TNT. Then you build it like this, connect redstone around the comparator to make like a square. Click the comparator once so it has a little red thing, and make sure all of these are at full tick. So you want to have 7. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus comparator, and then run the redstone like so on the side of the block. And then let's just do a quick test to make sure that it seems to be working fine. Alright, it's working good. And that is a comparator for you. It just sort of does a pulse thing. And then break this. And boom. So then you put some sand back, and so this is a hybrid cannon if you don't know how that works. Basically the sand, I guess you could call it entity, but the moving sand or the free-flowing sand and the TNT both combine when in the water, and then the sand sort of covers the water, so it sort of makes it waterproof, and then the TNT can blow up inside the sand and then blow up stuff in water. So that's the basic simple idea, but this is called the cob cannon because it uses cobwebs. So here we go. Put bedrock or whatever material you're using also over here, because you never know if these guys would dispense TNT in a weird way where it might like land right there and cause an issue. And then you can add the water, and then finally this angle you can just use a standard half slab. Don't need any more comparators. That's cobweb. There we go. So the next step is, I guess just doing a test with the button real quick. Making sure the redstone's good. Guys, whenever you're doing cannons, always make sure you check the redstone before, because you never want there to be a major problem. 4, 4, 5, boom. Alright, everything's looking dandy so far. And I think that means it's time to add the special ingredient, which is the cobweb. What you guys want to do is put a cobweb there and place sand on top of it. You don't want to make sand fall into it because, yeah, let me build it up. If you put sand and let it fall into it, it does the thing where it slowly drops, which can be a pain in the ass. So make sure you place the first one on top. Make sure you keep the piece of bedrock there. And now we have a working hybrid cannon. So you can do one piece and shoot one piece at a time with one piece of TNT, but that's not how we like to do it here on Orbit Unicorn's channel, and the way I play Minecraft is the more TNT, it means more fun. So let's just add some TNT to these dispensers, and I'll be right back and show you how to launch this thing correctly. Alright guys, and we're back. So all these are loaded up with various amounts of TNT. The charge TNT dispensers, you don't really need much because they only do one piece of TNT per shot, but this you might want to add a little bit more since it does like 5 or 7 burst projectiles. So then once you have that all set, you just want to grab your sand, which is the vital part in a hybrid cannon, and stack up. I like to do 20, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this looks very intimidating to anyone outside the base right away. You just have a gigantic stack of sand right outside with TNT all loaded up. So the next step really is getting some more cobbler, bedrock, or obsidian, whatever you're using, having it in your hand ready, double checking that all the redstone looks good. I always get nervous when I'm about to shoot the cannon. Break the bottom block, all the sand falls down, piles on, and then you put like this, make a little roof for the thing to shoot. So a little thing right there so it doesn't go too high, and then you simply stand back, press the button, and pray that it works. So as you could tell, holy cow, we had a lot of charge, which this is a problem. If you notice that your sand and TNT hits and shoots straight up in the air after it hits the wall, that means it just had way too much velocity, and the velocity had nowhere to go but up, which then means that you can take out the TNT in your top section, and then if you ever need to shoot farther, let's say they have an extremely big wall or something and you want to increase the distance that you shoot, simply just add the TNT back and then it should work fine. So we did, what was that, 10? No, that was 9 shots, so now we're down to 3. So I think that should work fine. And this is also to show you how to reload. You put a piece of sand down, you got a cobweb, and you put the cobweb back, break the first block, place, and go up 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 20 is just an arbitrary number. I try not to go any more than 20 because, hey guys, sorry about that quick cut, but my computer shut off and I actually called that night. But I'm back. I was just talking about how the sand, if you do any more than 20, it doesn't really fall right. It takes a little bit too long, and it's not really worth it. You're sort of just wasting sand at that point because 20 pieces of sand aren't really necessary, and it's going to be blown up anyway by the TNT. So 20 is a good number. You can do between 10 and 20. That's normally what I like to shoot for, depending on what the wall looks like. So here we go. Break the bottom piece, wait for it, and then cap it off. So if you guys didn't know, capping it off, again, I might have talked about this before, it just shoots the sand sort of straight up, and it sort of goes over everything. So if you want to shoot sand far, I guess you could get rid of the cap on the top, but it's not really accurate in the way it shoots. So there we go. I blew up around 13 pieces. I'm going to count this. This is actually, the audio got messed up and after my computer shut off and stuff, so I'm just re-commentating this after. But I did forget some things, so it's a little bit more difficult since I'm not actually controlling the guy. But there we go. It's 13 pieces of sand that blew up. So now let's try to get through the cobblestone wall. So I don't really remember if I got through it on the second shot or third shot, but I know it was pretty fairly quick. I think it would take 2 shots just to stack a little bit more sand up, so it's easy to get into. So you want to make sure you have TNT still, everything's looking good, cobweb up, sand up, and then count up 20. So this is one of my favorite cannons. It just really is a great cannon. It gets through sand walls, cobblestone walls, and even obsidian walls if you're playing Obsidian Breaker on an Obsidian Breaker server. It's pretty easy. Also, if you don't put TNT in the charge, it actually just stacks sand, so it's pretty cool. It's a sand stacking and TNT cannon and hybrid cannon, so overall it's just a pretty cool cannon. Sand was a failed attempt, I think mostly just because the sand wasn't stacked right. So now we have a little bit of stack there. Nothing much, just mostly because the TNT and the angle of the cap was a little bit off. But I'll show you guys how to make the sand not break as much and stack a little bit higher a little bit later. So here we go, another shot, and I think this one I actually get through. I'm not sure, it's just as much as a mystery as it is for you guys, because I'm watching this a little bit later. So I'll take this time to talk about Woodycraft. So this is going on the Woodycraft subreddit and the Woodycraft forums, just in case you guys didn't know. It's a pretty cool server. I talk about it in every single Minecraft video at this point. But Woody, again, if Sour, whatever, you guys are listening to this, I would recommend this cannon to get through bases. It's pretty quick and uses a lot of less TNT than my 100-shot TNT cannon. It's a video in the, it's probably a suggested video if you're watching on YouTube. But so I got through the cobblestone wall. Makes a pretty big hole actually. So you could easily, you don't have to ender pearl glitch through that. You can just honestly just walk through that. Pretty simple. So now I'm gonna actually build this a little bit higher. Try to get a little bit more challenge on the sand wall and see how much I can take out. Alright guys, I'm back. As you can see, I sort of made a section of sand a little bit, and I'm just covering it in a little bit of water source blocks here. So it's sort of like a tall piece of sand. I just didn't want to cover the whole thing in sand because it's sort of pointless since the main area we're focusing on is the middle of the sand wall. So this sand wall's pretty good. I'm counting right now. I think it actually came out to around 33 total pieces, so around half stack of sand we're shooting at per column. So that's like, what is that, like 4 basically stacks of sand. So, now the one problem I noticed, I'm about to shoot, actually no, I won't tell you. Let's just wait and see what happens when you just shoot straight at it, with normal cap on at the same height that I'm doing. So I have the 20 pieces, broke the second one there, meant to make the bottom one. So now we put the cap on. As you notice, the cap is right above it, not too much room for gap there, or a gap there. And we shoot it, and I was expecting this to actually blow up the whole stack, but a lot of the TNT is near the bottom, and since it's so close to the bottom, it didn't even take out the 13 original pieces. So this time I'm actually going to try to stack some sand and then land the TNT on that. So in order to do that, at first I'm like, what the heck, how come it didn't break? But then I realized that you need to make the cap, you make that 1 block higher or 2 blocks higher, and then it allows for the sand to arch a little bit better and more sand overall not to break, because sand will break in hybrid cannons where you shoot multiple pieces, but the less sand that breaks, the obviously more sand is displacing some water. But this is sort of my train of thought as I was going through. I was like, how come? And then finally I'm like, you know what? I think it's just that it's shooting all too straight. And when the sand hits the wall, basically what's happening is all the sand's inside of each other, and then it just breaks into entities when it can't go anywhere else. Because it's all in a straight line. So there we go, increasing the cap. You could also do this, just have the cap up like this, or the barrel or the muzzle or whatever you guys want to call it. You could have it up like this to start, but it's not really more of a straight cannon. This has a little bit more arch to it, but it gets the job done sand-wise. As you can see, the sand really made a pretty big stack here. So basically, what would happen now, if I were to shoot it again, was the TNT would land on top of the stack, like right around there. Piece of TNT would just land there, and then as you can see, it breaks like in the center of all the sand. So that way, more sand would be able to fall, and it would just overall take out the sand wall more. But that's only if they have a big sand wall. If you have a cobble wall, you don't really have to worry about hitting the bottom of it, because they're just going to break it anyway. So 2 shots, one through a sand wall and a cobble wall. Technically, you could one-shot a cobble wall covered in water, and you don't have to worry about the pesky individual stand stacking. You waste like 30 minutes to an hour getting in a small base. You can raid multiple bases this way within an hour, and overall, if you're streaming, making videos about factions, or just having some fun in factions, you don't really want to be wasting your time messing around with that. So this is the other way that you could do it, power it. Basically, this is if you can't get access to Comparator, whether you're playing in a really, really old version of Minecraft for some reason, or you just don't like using comparators. Maybe you don't have access to the nether to get nether quartz, or I'm not really sure, but this is just a pulsar. It's a little bit slower than the comparator, so you might only get like 3 or 4 pieces compared to the either 5 or 7 that shoots out of the comparator. Not really sure, I sort of forgot. But so basically you just build this with a tick in the middle, and then you power break really quick, so that way it has a pulse going through it. And then when you press the button, you can either press it and then have someone else place it, or you can press it, run over, and then place it. But it's not really too useful, because you have to like run over, and there can be like a fail where you accidentally don't break it, because you have to place the redstone, then break it, or else it'll just keep shooting, as you can see. So if you wait a little too long, then it's just going to have a bunch of pieces of TNT sitting there with no charge, which can be dangerous, which can blow up the cannon. So I really do recommend using the comparator, and I'm actually going to try to do an update video on the 100-shot TNT cannon that uses comparators, and it is single button. So guys, this has been Unicorn. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.